What's good, everybody? Welcome back to another video on the channel, and in this video I'm going to be showing you how to make a point cloud. Now, I've been asked a lot to do a tutorial on this, so I figured why not. But of course, before the video starts, I'm going to need you to hit that sub button and leave a like on the video. Also, if you'd like to support me in the item shop, you can use code Khypz. Anyways, with that being said, enjoy the video. Okay, so as you can see, we're in Premiere Pro. You can go in whatever editing software you want. I've already made a project, however, so I'm just gonna go ahead and go into this. So now, as you can see, I've already edited my clip. I've added my shakes and my zoom ins and whatnot. This black part is going to be where the point cloud goes, so I just left it blank. And I'll just go ahead and render this so you guys can see what I did. So as you can see, nothing crazy, just a little edit. So now what you want to do is you want to go to your project and you want to import your footage, and I'm going to explain to you what you need to get in order to have a good point cloud. So just drag that into your timeline. Now for what we're doing with the clip, I won't need the audio, so what I'm going to do is just unlink it, and then I'm just going to delete it. So basically what you want to do now is you want to go around every object. So go around the stair, go around my character, go around my opponent's character, you know, just get some of the builds. Basically you want to try to get as good of a scan as possible. Let's say you had a car, you want to try to go around the car, get a good scan. I'll give you a quick tip: don't rotate around something too many times, or else it might bug out and end up creating a duplicate. But once you think your footage is good, just go ahead and you can trim it. So once you finish trimming your footage, you want to just set an in and out point. For Premiere it's INO, After Effects is INN, and then you want to go to File, go to Export, and you want to go to your media and just wait for the panel to pop up. So once your panel is opened, you want to go to your preset where it says H.264, and you want to just set it to JPEG, and it's going to automatically set it to a JPEG sequence. And now what you want to do next is you want to go down and you want to go to where the frames are, and you want to set your frames to 5. If you set it to anything above 5, it will take longer to render in media encoder, and it will take longer to render as an actual point cloud. So then once you finish setting your frames, you want to go down and you want to make sure you have these two boxes ticked. Then I'm just going to go back up and I'm going to set my picture quality to 3840 by 2160, which is 4K. And then I'm just going to double check everything. Everything looks okay. Everything's good. I'm just going to click Q, and then you just wait for media encoder to open. So once your media encoder is open, you just want to make sure that you highlighted that specific project, and then you're just going to go ahead and want to click play and let it render. Now another thing you can do while it renders is you can actually go to your file explorer or wherever you put your files, and you can actually create a folder, which is basically where you're going to put all the photos after they're done rendering. So just go to new and create the folder. I'm going to name mine photos, and yeah, now it's done. I'm just going to go back and I'm going to wait for these photos to finish render. Okay, so they're done. I'm just going to click on this link and you're going to go to the very first photo. You're going to click it, and then you're going to go to the last one and you're going to hold shift, and then you're going to click it. This is basically just going to select everything in that space. And then what you want to do is you want to drag those photos all the way to your folder. I'm going to drag mine to videos, and then I'm going to do the exact same thing. Click the first one, go to the last one, click shift and click it, and then just drag it all the way up and then drag it into the folder. And now what you want to do is you can close media encoder, and you can save your project, and you can close whatever software you used. And now what you want to do is you want to go and open Agisoft Metashape, and this is where you're going to do the rendering. So once your Agisoft is open, you want to go straight to workflow, and you want to click add photos, and then you're going to go and you're going to find where you put your photos in that folder. You're going to double click it to open it, and you're going to do the exact same thing again. Click the first one, hold shift, click the last one, import it. Now as you can see, it has 274 cameras, one chunk, you're gonna now go to workflow again, and you're gonna click align photos. And for me, these are my settings. I normally have them slightly low, because if you set them any higher, trust me, it will take hours to days. So I have mine set to medium. I have my key point at 150,000 and my type point to 10,000. I don't check this box. Make sure you have this box checked, and you can go ahead and click OK. Okay, so once it's done, you're gonna have this error, but just go ahead and ignore it and click OK. And now you can scroll up with your scroll wheel just to zoom in, and you can just rotate with a little ball in the middle, and you can just drag it around to see what you've done. But we can't really see anything because we haven't made the dense cloud yet. So you're gonna want to go to workflow, and then you want to go to build dense cloud. And then once again, these are just my settings. I have mine set to medium, and I have my other setting to mild. You can set it higher if you want. I just choose not to. And then also make sure you always have this box ticked. Go ahead and click OK. Okay, so once it's done now, what you want to do is head over to this little arrow next to chunk, and you want to double click on the dense cloud, and this is going to actually show you the dense cloud. So now what you want to do after you've done that is you want to go to dense cloud again, and you want to right click it, and then you want to go down to export dense cloud, click that, and you always want to save these as ASCII points. Just ignore everything else and always save them as ASCII points. I'm just going to name this point cloud tutorial, and I'm just gonna go ahead and click save. This screen is gonna pop up. What you want to do is make sure this is always set to dense cloud. Everything else is fine. Make sure you have this point colors box checked, and you can go ahead and click OK. And then once that's done processing, you just want to go over to file, you want to go over to save. You just want to save it as whatever. Doesn't matter what you name it, it never matters, we know this. And then you just want to go ahead and save, let it process that too. And once that's done, you can go ahead and you can close your address off, and then you can go ahead and close your files too. And then you just want to go over to your Epic Games, and this is where the real fun begins. Okay, so once you're in the Epic Games launcher, you want to go to the Unreal Engine section, and you just want to go to your library. And once you have Unreal Engine version 4.2, 4.3 installed, and you have the LiDAR point cloud plugin installed, you just want to go ahead and click launch and wait for it to load up. Okay, so we're in the Unreal Engine. Now what you want to do is just double click on games, and you want to double click on blank, and you want to make sure that ray tracing is disabled in order for this to work. And you can just name this something. I'm just gonna call it name, and then create the project. So we're in the engine officially. So now what you want to do is you want to go into this little section, and you want to click on the top thing basically, and then you want to scroll all the way down, hold shift. It's kind of like your file explorer or wherever you put your files. Click the last one and just press delete. Then you're going to say yes to all. Now you just have this blank grid. This is what we want. The next thing you're going to do is go to edit, go to plugins, and make sure that LiDAR point cloud is enabled. Most of the time it's not going to be enabled, so you have to just turn it on, and then you have to restart. So once it's restarted, you can just press X and exit out. And now what you want to do is you want to go to import, and you want to find where you put your ASCII points. So I have mine called point cloud tutorial, so I'm just gonna double click on it. It's gonna import it. It's gonna automatically sense it as a point cloud, so you're just gonna hit import all. It's gonna load down there. Now what you want to do is drag it. You want to click it and drag it into the grid, and now you basically imported it. And the controls for this thing, basically you hold right click to move like your camera, and then you can just use WASD. So it's kind of like you're just basically playing a normal game. E is to go up, Q is to go down. Simple controls. And now what you want to do is you want to go to rotation. So if I were to click out of this, I just click on the point cloud tutorial, then go to rotation and set it to 90 degrees. This is just gonna make it straight so I can actually see what I'm doing. As you can see, you've got my character here, and then you've got the opponent here, or who I was fighting. Now click back into point cloud, and then I'm gonna scroll down until I see point size. I'm gonna put the point size to about like a 0.6, because you don't want it to be too clumpy, or else it's just not gonna look good. So about 0.6 is good. And then you can mess with the point budget if you want. If you turn it down, it's just gonna delete more points and then just eventually disappear. So honestly, I don't recommend messing with that. So now you're gonna go down to gain, and you're just gonna mess with with the brightness settings on the gain. So you can either make it brighter, or you can just lower it. Most of the times I normally just lower it like max all the way down, and then I just mess with some of the other qualities. So I just mess with like this part here, either make it more red, can make it green. I mostly make it like a more blue purplish tint. Then what you want to do is you want to go to this search classes spot, and you want to look up exponential height fog. It's gonna search up. Then you just want to drag it straight on the clip. This is basically gonna make like a, oh, by the way, when you hold your right click, just scroll up with your scroll wheel, or scroll down to go faster or slower. So scroll down, slower, up, going faster. So this just makes a little like fog. It kind of looks like a sky if you want. And what I normally do is I would just mess with the fog density, because I don't want it to be bright. I don't want it to be too bright. So I normally just mess with like the opacity and the fog density and stuff till I get like a nice coloring like this. Maybe turn it up a little bit more, because you don't want it to be fully dark, because that's just boring. So think about here should be decent. And then you want to go back to it, and you just want to change the color of it. So you just want to mess around with this little area here. You can just move around, drag this over here and move around. See, we have it pink, have it green. You can do a little rainbow. I don't know why I'm doing this. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to show you guys how to record the actual like cinematic for it. So basically, this software actually uses a dolly cam, unlike the Fortnite replay mode. So what you want to do is you want to go up here to cinematics, click it, and it's going to bring down these two selections, and you want to click add level sequence. And this is basically what is going to allow you to make your cinematics. So I normally put this to 60 FPS because why not? And then you want to go over here to create a new camera, and you want to click that. This is what you want to be in at all times. Sometimes what's gonna happen is it's gonna kick you out of the camera. So all you have to do is go to perspective, and then choose the cine camera actor, and then you just go into that, and then you can move around the camera. So in order to actually make movements, first of all, is you have to actually scroll down a little bit, and you're gonna find the transform. This is everything. This is all you'll basically need. For most people, they're gonna have their focal length at about 21, which is the Fortnite replay focal length. You don't have to have it at 21. This is normally what I use, but you could always like change the focal length around anytime during the recording or the cinematic or whatever. Oh, and another thing, if you ever stretch this, like it's basically the video, if you ever stretch the video past these borders, make sure, and I repeat, make sure you stretch these borders with the video, or else you will lose that section of the video that's out of the borders. So make sure that everything is within the green line and the red line. So now I'm going to start about right here, and then what I want to do is go down to transform, click a keyframe. This is where my start position is. Then you could just press space and play it if you want, but who does that? So I'm just gonna drag it till I think it's a good enough distance, because what this software does is it actually makes these keyframes here. These are automatically Beziered, so you don't have to keyframe them and make them Beziered yourself. They're automatically Beziered, so they're smooth already. So I'm just gonna drag a little bit, and then what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna delete this keyframe actually. I'm just gonna move my camera somewhat about back here, because I want a good distance. So I think about here is decent. So I'm just gonna put a transform keyframe. As you can see, I start to move from here, and I move backwards. Now let's see how that looks. So obviously, as you saw, it's a bit choppy, so I'm gonna actually have to space these up a little bit and then correct them a bit. So I'm gonna go do that, and then I'll just cut back to when I'm done. So yeah, it's not the best, but I did try to fix it as much as I possibly could. So I'm just gonna do with what I have right now. So what I'm gonna do is to export this, you're gonna click this render, this little movie symbol. I'm gonna click it, and that's gonna open up the movie settings. And what you want to do is, this is going to be an AVI, so you have to use media encoder to change it into an MP4. So just leave it as an AVI, no audio. For me, I'm gonna put it to 60 FPS because that's normally what I use for like everything. You always want to make sure that use compression is off. Never have this box on. Leave this as that. Basically just leave everything else how it is. Oh, and change this to whatever res you want. I'm just gonna change it to 4K because I like 4K. And then basically once you're done all that, just click capture movie and let it render. Save, and yeah, we wait. So once your media encoder is open, you just go back to your files, drag in the AVI, and you want to click on the match source. This is just going to take you to another page that's going to allow you to mess with the settings. So you want to leave it or make it an H.264, which is basically an MP4. For the preset, honestly, just leave it like that. We're just going to mess with it down here. So make sure it's 4K, make sure the frames are 60, make sure render at maximum depth is on, and use maximum render quality is on. Profile, I'm gonna set it to high for me because I want it at high. I'm gonna put my level to 5.2, and I'm just gonna check over it, 4K. Okay, everything looks good. I'm gonna click OK, and then we're just gonna highlight it, and then we're gonna render it, and we'll see when it's done. So once you finish render the file as an MP4, all you want to do is just go ahead and import it into your software. You're just going to want to import the file, and then you're going to want to drag it in your timeline. I won't need this audio part, so I'm just going to unlink this and delete this. I know based on how long your footage is, you may have to make some time adjustments to it. And also before you do that, you want to scale it to your frame size because it's actually going to be bigger than your actual composition settings. So once you do that, then you have to make a few time adjustments if necessary. So I have to do that, so I'm just going to do those, and I'll be back in a bit. So unfortunately, I had to cut out a lot of the footage because it was too long, but I just went ahead and added some shake and some chroma and some other effects. So I'm going to go ahead and show you guys that once it's done rendering. Thank you guys so much for watching. If you enjoyed or you found this video useful, please consider dropping a like on the video, and also comment what tutorials you guys would like to see me do in the future. Anyways, that's enough talking. Peace.